I could tell he was watching her from behind the fence. I was standing in our guest bedroom, with the door closed and the lights off. From the window, I could see that he was looking over his side of the fence. Directly into my bedroom, he was watching my wife Xiomara, and she was completely oblivious to his presence. We had just returned to the States from Honduras, and had moved into a new house just 3 days ago. The blinds on the windows we bought with the house were on reserve for another 2 weeks. Xiomara is somewhat naive. She would never have thought that a neighbor could be spying on her. I first noticed him that night, and quite by accident. I was putting a box of things on the floor of the guest room when the door closed behind me. When I stood up, I saw a bright flash outside. It was my neighbor lighting a cigarette. He was standing at the end of the fence and looking toward my bedroom window in the back corner of the house. I was watching him from a window on the side of the house, and with the lights off, he couldn't see me at all. I could make out his silhouette every time he took a drag on his cigarette. I wondered how long he had been watching her. Tonight it seemed like he was just a dedicated voyeur. Even though I knew she was fully dressed, when she unpacked her boxes of things, then I thought that if he had been watching us the previous 2 nights, as well, he could have seen a lot more of her. I tried to remember if we had turned off the lights before we undressed, but I couldn't remember. It was really interesting watching him spy on her. I probably should have been angry, but instead I couldn't stop thinking about the last 2 nights and the real possibility that he had already seen her naked and was back tonight to see more. I can certainly understand his obsession. She really is a beautiful woman. Xiomara has long, straight black hair down to her luscious, bouncy-ass dark brown eyes, a small mouth with full lips, a brilliant smile and smooth, light brown skin. She is 5 feet, 2 inches tall, 32. A bust with golden brown nipples. She is a petite, Central American beauty that I fell in love with at first sight. We met when I was working in Honduras as a contract electrical engineer. I'm 33 years old. She's 10 years younger at 23. And we've only been married a year. I walked back into our bedroom and she asked, "Where have you been?" Just looking around, I replied, taking a seat on the corner of the bed, knowing that my roommate was watching her every move. I watched her with my eyes as she moved around the room. Even fully dressed, she looked sexy in her white shorts and tight red tank top. I began to look at our bedroom from a voyeur's point of view. Basically, if he stands at the end of the fence where he was a moment ago, he has half of the bedroom from the middle of the bed to the footboard, to the door in view if he walks up the fence toward our house. He stops seeing the bed and instead has a full view of the bathroom, sink, toilet, and shower while the door is open. Taking a seat on the corner of the bed, I looked at the mirror we hung on the wall today. I didn't immediately realize that not only can he walk into the bathroom, but he can look into this mirror that shows the entire bed, from the center to the headboard. We both sleep naked, so I assume he might have seen her for a moment or two, between opening the bathroom door and turning off the light. But I was so tired last night that I think I fell asleep before she got into bed, so I don't know for sure. Today I woke up excited to see her new nighttime routine. At 11 p.m., she went to the bathroom and closed the door, leaving the bedroom light and TV on. I went back to the guest room, turned off the light and closed the door, looking out the window to see if our neighbor had stayed for the show. Sure enough, he was peeking over the fence toward the bathroom door. I knew he would have a good view of her when she opened the door. I went back to our bedroom undressed, got into bed and waited to see how this would end. I felt a little guilty for setting my wife up like that. But then the bathroom door opened and it was too late to stop. Xiomara took a couple steps from the bathroom door into the bedroom and stood right in front of the window. She was completely naked. She stood, brushing her long hair, and asked me if there was anything good on TV. I couldn't answer. All I could do was think about the fact that he could see her, standing there, and that he could clearly see every inch of her body. "Why are you looking at me like that?" she asked, and I replied, "Because you're beautiful." And my heart skipped a few beats. She turned around, walked back into the bathroom, and stood in front of the mirror. In it, she was visible from head to toe. She brushed her teeth, turned off the bathroom light, and walked back out smiling. She ran over to the bed and jumped into the air, coming down almost directly on top of me. We started kissing. I glanced at the mirror and got even more turned on when I saw him looking at her, lying naked on our bed, and her starting to kiss my neck. Would I really let him watch her make love to me? She threw back the covers, exposing my naked body. Her naked body on display was incredibly erotic, and her unconscious submission affected me in ways I could never have imagined. I was thrilled at how exciting our sex was tonight, and I was sure it was because he was watching us. We both got up and went to the bathroom, leaving the door open while Xiomara showered. I made a quick run to the guest room to check on our voyeur. It was too dark outside, and I wasn't sure if he was still there. I didn't understand why I had secretly allowed another man to watch me, having fun with my young wife. But I knew that next time, I would know for sure if we were being watched. As an electrical engineer, I specialized in surveillance equipment. I made a quick trip to Radio Shack the next morning and came home with our new security system. Xiomara incredulously asked me, "Why do we need so much security? Isn't this a nice neighborhood?" I replied, "Yes, dear. But I want to make sure you feel safe when I have to leave on business." That seemed to work, and she left me alone to install the new system. Outside, I installed a camera aimed at the fence at the corner of the roof. The camera is hidden inside a spotlight, which also has infrared technology that allows you to see in total darkness. I then installed a camera in our bedroom, disguised as a motion detector. At 9 p.m., I was in my office in front of my computer, with the cameras open on a split screen, running both cameras at the same time. The lights came on in our bedroom, and Xiomara came into view as she began to sort through the laundry on the bed. A few minutes later, I saw my neighbor come out the back door, walk over to the fence, and peek into our bedroom. It looked like he was talking on a cordless or cell phone. I wondered if he was telling anyone about what he witnessed last night. It was amusing to see him purposely standing at the fence, watching Xiomara. His intentions were so clear that he was spying on her. Of course, he didn't realize he was being watched as well. Over an hour passed and nothing happened. He waited patiently at the fence for what I'm sure was another grand performance. You have to give him credit for his unwavering commitment to voyeurism. He was on the phone again, continuing to walk up and down the length of the fence to get a glimpse of her. Every time she went into the bathroom, he would run up to the house to get a glimpse of her. When she retreated to the other end of the bedroom to hang her clothes in the closet, he would return to the fence to look at her. Xiomara had no idea of her devoted voyeur. For the next hour, she paced back and forth across our bedroom. It wasn't until 10 p.m. that I noticed my roommate had turned around and seemed to be talking to someone. I couldn't believe it. There were now 2 other guys standing with him. He must have invited his friends over to peep at Xiomara. I switched to the infernal red and made sure that there were now 3 guys, standing behind the fence, smoking cigarettes, and taking turns to see if Xiomara had started her nightly routine. I know I should have overpowered myself, but instead I found more guys watching her. That's when I got the idea to capture the moment on tape. I quickly set my VCR to receive the video signal from both cameras. In split-screen mode on playback, I could see both our bedroom and the man watching from behind the fence. That way I could record what was happening and review it later. I started recording just as Xiomara entered the room and stripped down to her panties and bra. She was standing right in front of the window, and I saw 3 men rush toward her. She went into the bathroom and closed the door. I heard the shower running and realized they had missed the show by closing the door. I got up and walked to our bedroom and stood in front of the window and looked outside. I wondered if they were all hiding, but I couldn't tell because it was too dark for me to see them. I opened the bathroom door and asked, "Do you want to watch TV before we go to bed?" She yelled back, overlapping the noise of the shower, "Yeah, just for a little while." I walked away, leaving the bathroom door open. The guys outside now had a direct view of my wife in the glass shower. I turned on our TV, which was on the dresser in front of the bed, and turned off the bedroom light. Back in my office, I saw on the computer Xiomara taking a shower with a group of men outside watching her. As evil as it was, I couldn't believe how good I felt. She turned off the water and stepped out of the shower. Water dripped from her long, black hair, and she began to wipe her body with a towel. She put one foot on the toilet to wipe it off. I quickly shifted the camera's gaze to our bed, went back to the bedroom and got into bed. Xiomara met me in bed and we made love passionately again. For what seemed like an hour. The television on the dresser directly behind us was producing a bright light show. The next morning, I hurried to my office to review the tape. I watched their heads peek out from behind the fence as she stepped out of the shower. The opportunity to see them, as well as their view of her, was breathtaking. A few minutes later, I watched them react to what they could see through our window, as Xiomara moved into a 69 position and we began to have other sex. Our bedroom was darker than the night before. No lights were on, so it was harder to see both of us on the bed. The TV screen flashed dark and bright lights at times, which was like a strobe light, giving our voice, yours, a better look at us for only a few seconds at a time. I watched in amazement, as one of the guys jumped over the fence and watched us, right from our bedroom window. Xiomara and I lived in that house for the next 3 years. Over the years, I taped my neighbor and several of his friends, watching my wife from behind the fence. While traveling a lot, I also connected to my computer via modem and watched my wife and the people gathered outside, watching her window. Sometimes she would remember to close the blinds, and sometimes she would put on a show for her faithful voyeurs